All right, welcome back, everybody. Ford South Africa will implement a safety recall of some of their Kuga vehicles. The car manufacturer and the National Consumer Commission made the announcement yesterday. A number of these cars have caught alight, with the latest just this past Saturday. Now, let's go back to December 2015. A man was killed when his car burst into flames, but Ford says that they still can't say whether or not that was their car's fault or not, because investigations are still underway. So joining us now, the head of the Consumer Commission, Ebrahim Mohamed, is our guest to talk more about this. Unfortunately, Ford South Africa, they were invited for the interview, but they didn't confirm to be here on the program. Good to have you. Thank you very much for being with us here on the program.
Well, thank you for having me on your show.
Yeah, it's a very unfortunate situation that we find ourselves in South Africa, because as it stands right now, it seems that South Africa is the only country that is struggling with this. There's about 50 cars bursting into flames on our roads. I mean, this is an unacceptable situation. Would you not agree?
I would agree with you wholeheartedly. I think this is the most that has ever occurred. 50 in a short period of time. The National Consumer Commission, when it became aware of the problem in early December 2016, we immediately contacted Ford and had a meeting with them where we discussed the matter, and where they then agreed that they would conduct what they call mechanical checks.
Yeah.
On all the affected vehicles.
Yeah. So we're looking at a vehicle that was built, I think the year was, 2012? It's been built between
2012 and 2014. Yeah.
I mean, this is a long time, and people have been talking about this for a long time, and incidences have been happening for a long time, and there's been absolutely no communication from Ford. As the Consumer Commission, I know that you urged them to pull this forward, but how long have you been in communication with them?
Since December 2016, when we became aware of the problem.
Yeah.
We had a meeting with them, as I said. They agreed to do mechanical checkups on all affected vehicles. Approximately 6,000 vehicles were involved or are involved. That number has been whittled down to about 4,500 now. That still needs to be checked and so on. But clearly the checking didn't work in the way that was anticipated, and there were so many more incidents thereafter.
Yeah.
So when I returned from leave on Wednesday, I immediately set the ball rolling to urgently meet with Ford again. They had indicated that they wanted to meet with the Commission yesterday, but I said no, I need to meet with them urgently, because I had decided together with my team that we wanted to order a recall if Ford did nothing about it.
Yeah.
You see, in terms of the law, they have to be given the opportunity to do a voluntary recall before we can impose a recall.
Yeah.
So we had to give them that opportunity. And they then indicated that they were going to do a voluntary recall, but they wanted to announce it on Tuesday. I said to them, no, we should announce it on Monday. Okay. And that's what happened yesterday.
All right, so you pulled this forward. Yeah. What we really need to get to the bottom of is that this is not a full recall. It's just a safety recall. So they're asking people that own these Ford Kugas to go to their nearest Ford, hand it in, and then they will fix what they believe is the fault in this vehicle, and then the customer obviously takes the car back. But my interpretation from a lot of these car owners is they don't want this car anymore. They are very nervous getting into it. What right do you feel that the consumers' rights have been met? I mean, should a consumer, if they feel that they don't want this car anymore, be given the option to give it back to Ford and they'll compensate them?
You see, it's quite complicated, because a motor vehicle is made up of hundreds, thousands of components, okay? And does one recall totally a vehicle and then refund the consumer if there's only one problem with the motor vehicle? Now, in this case, yes, it's serious. There's been a death reported, which is most unfortunate. Ford, however, is disputing that this death was was caused as a result of the problem now being experienced by motorists. But that's another issue.
That investigation is still underway, though.
That investigation is still underway.
So if it is found that the cause of the death of this very unfortunate incident, that could change the whole scenario.
That could, and the family would have a serious legal suit or action against Ford.
I imagine they would. I interrupted you because you were continuing about if a consumer feels that they want a full refund on their vehicle as opposed to just getting a component fixed, if that works.
Yeah, you see, it might be very unreasonable in many, many instances because what if the alternator is faulty? Does the whole motor vehicle, comprising of 980 other parts, for example, have to be changed because of that? So we regard it as reasonable if the affected parts are then changed and repaired or replaced, and the vehicle or the component or the product is then in perfect working order again. But I can understand the fear and the frustration of consumers. Consumers, in terms of the Act, also have a right of recourse for damages caused by this type of fire and this type of situation, where they can go to court to claim civil damages.
Just finally and very quickly, insurance companies. For those that have been affected, I mean, what is the stance of insurance companies?
I'm not too sure what their stance of insurance companies is, but if the vehicle is comprehensively insured, that in my view, the insurance company should be paying out. But there's also been a view by the media and several other consumers that Ford is now shifting the buck on the insurance companies rather than focusing on their responsibility and what they should be doing in order to assist consumers.
All right. Well, we have to unfortunately leave it there, but it's an issue that is still going to be looked into, and people, I imagine, that own Ford Kugas are going to be making their way down to a Ford service station as soon as they possibly can to drop off their car. We've been told that Ford, if it does take longer than they expect, will give a loan car out, and we'll wait and see how that goes. Ebrahim Mohamed, thank you very much for joining us here on the program, the Commissioner for the National Consumer Commission here in South Africa. All right, let's take a quick break. When we